All right. I think we're all good here. Let me here. Make sure everything's all good. Let's see. Ooh, my voice is very quiet. Oh, nope. A little better. Let's see. Testing, testing. Hello. Okay. That seems good there. All right. I've got monitor desktop audio off currently. Go. Things looking good. Can't guarantee I won't lose power, but here we are. All right. Currently watching for any severe weather to take place here in Middle Tennessee. We're expecting some strong winds, possible a tornado or two. I decided to go live before the main line gets here because of these little cells here. Gotta keep an eye on them. Our environment from the earlier sounding here at BNA was pretty capped. We need to watch closely and see, how this cap holds over time. Given these storms firing, it looks like the cap has, at the very least, weakened, possibly broken. These storms really came up kind of fairly quickly. We'll just see what happens with those, how they interact with each other, and if they take out most of the energy from the main line here. If any of these can get going, these will be our main tornado producers, but there's no guarantee they will get going. Just taking a look at the SPC meso analysis. Here, I'll bring this over. We can see pretty good shear in the area, 50, 55s, bulk shear with surface to 1 kilometers. You're at 35 to 40 knots, and our jet. Definitely heavy jet circulation over where we're getting the most storms currently right now, over in Illinois and Arkansas. Taking a look at our upper air analysis at 500 millibars, definitely have a jet that is causing most of our issues here. Taking a look at the 850 millibar analysis. We've got, plenty of strong winds here, northeasterly flow. We've got our big ol' high pressure down here, bringing in a nice, warm, moist air from the Gulf, causing this outbreak here. Severe weather outbreak, not tornado. Well, it might be a tornado outbreak by the end of the night. We'll have to see. Not expecting tornado outbreak here in Tennessee, but there's been a fair number of tornadoes out in the northwest. Still looking like a 11 p.m. ETA for the most part. Ooh, that's not. I wanted up there. So just watching carefully. Like I said, these little bubbling thunderstorms. There was one earlier that we see here that pretty much died. That can happen when the cap breaks in one location but doesn't in another. And it's actually looking like a very similar thing is happening to these here. They kind of get going and moving into a capped environment, and they're cut off from their supply of fuel. But it's something we have to watch carefully, definitely. Send out a few messages. Sorry. Just to people some friends and family It's always fun. And you get a million text messages about when there's going to be, and you can't reply to everyone at once. So I've decided to try making this more of a priority. There we go. Let's see. I should be able to share. Why can I not? Here we go. Copy the link. And there we go. Live chat. There we go. Once again, I don't. Why does it keep doing that? I want it here. Locked to this. I'm on not a new computer, but I installed a bunch of stuff. So why? Yeah. Let's see. Source alignment. Oh, all right. I'm gonna have to figure that out later. But currently, we're just kind of now casting in the waiting game. So we'll just waiting and see what happens. Open this bug. It's up on monitor. It'll fly. There we go. Got it. So once again, I'm why does it keep doing that? I don't need it to do that. While we're waiting for the Storm 3 to get going, I'm gonna see if I can't fix this. All right. All right. Just hide that scene. Perfect. All right. I'm just gonna go get a drink real quick while I'm waiting. I'm gonna leave this radar loop while I'm trying to figure out some of this stuff. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. So got a quick drink. Hope I can maybe see some of the lightning off in the distance, but I couldn't see anything. Or wait for storms to fire. Some things you can do right now. Make sure your safe place is cleaned out if it's a closet and you're into your room. Make sure you have shoes ready with good soles. If the worst happens, you don't want to be walking around barefoot or in flip-flops. There could be nails and other debris sticking up. Have helmets in your safe place already. Helmets will be crucial while in the event you get hit by a tornado. Protect your head from flying debris. And just making sure you're staying calm. Oh, I'm echoing. Why am I echoing? Thank you, Luke. Testing. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, my microphone. Okay. How's this doing? Let's see. Oh, no echo? Okay, perfect. Nope. Wait, okay. Let's see. I don't hear an echo on my end. Let me turn off my fan in the background because I think I may hear that slightly. My chair is suffering. Okay. That may have solved some echo issues. I don't hear one on my end now. And make sure it's not. Nah, nothing's going on my phone. But currently, we are just watching these little cells here that popped up. We're good now. Perfect. All right. I have a few settings on my mic that I'm still learning how to actually work properly. And I'm going to bring this up, and it's going to be in the right spot. Nice. Okay. OBS. Thank you. So we're waiting for these storms to pick up steam. Hopefully they actually don't, and they remain sub-severe until this main line gets here. So, safe place. You want to be in the lowest level of your house or home, whether that's in a basement underground or on the ground floor. You want to stay away from windows. An interior bathroom or closet is the best, but just making sure you're staying away from your exterior walls and windows will drastically improve odds of survival. This is a nighttime event. Don't go outside to try to see something, especially if you don't know what to look for on radar, because things can change very quickly, especially if any of these cells get going. They're going to interact with each other, and those interactions can cause some weird behaviors between them. You may have heard in the latest Twisters movie the Fujiwara effect. That's a real possibility when you have storms this close. You also have outflow interactions, which is what happens when two storms produce winds that interact with each other. They can cause other storms to fire and build up. You can have storms go in the opposite direction. You can have, for example, a tornado that rotates clockwise instead of counterclockwise. So all sorts of things can happen. Don't go outside to try to see something. Ooh, I'm just going to take a quick look over here at the Little Rock radar, because we have an interesting development here north of Little Rock, towards Batesville and Bethesda, near St. James Mountain View. There is a PDS tornado warning. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is in effect for north central Arkansas. Let's see here. Life threat, law enforcement confirmed. See here, this is what you would look for in a tornado. You've got their classic kind of hook shape here. Unfortunately, it's in a bit of a radar hole. There's no good close radar to it. But even then you can see this is most definitely a hook echo. This is, 5,000 feet. This is a mile in the sky, and you're seeing the rotation of this storm that clearly. Look at correlation coefficient, and you can see this dark blue here surrounded by these reds and yellows. That's a lot of damage. That is debris getting sent over a mile into the sky. That is really bad, this area. So Hanover, Mountain View, St. James too, go ahead and get in your safe places. This is a very dangerous tornado that's on the ground. This is in Arkansas, by the way. I know the title and everything says Central Tennessee, but kind of want to show in case this is why those cells, individual cells, can be so dangerous. There's nothing stopping this storm from continuing forward and just not weakening. Also, I apologize if I talk a little bit slower or try to gather my thoughts. It's been a while since I've done one of these. So, but I'm going to take a quick look back at Nashville, or Nashville radar. Once again, these storms here, not seeing too much in the way of any rotation with these, which is good. They're just kind of bubbling up and dissipating fairly quickly. Might be some slight intensification on these storms here. It's just south of Clarksville and north of Dixon. But overall, things are looking fairly good. Trying to see. It's got a couple streams open of other meteorologists. Since they have access to cams, I don't. We've got another good thing to look at is these Mesonet stations. Mesonet stations provide great real-time information. I just heard some thunder, likely near my house, so likely this storm here over Kingston Springs is intensifying. We'll just have to see what happens when it enters the area. I'm not seeing. Yeah, here's our sounding analysis. I doubt they put better sounding since. Yeah. So again, this is not quite a loaded gun sounding. I would expect more CAPE, but this is a worrisome sounding of this hodograph. Not quite as curved as you would like for a major tornado event, but definitely curved enough for tornadoes. Wind shear and SRH values, definitely plenty for tornadoes, and enough CAPE. Dew points are a little low, but we've got massive amounts of enough wind shear to take care of that. Any issues of lacking there? Yeah, so near Ashland, south of Ashland City, and between Pilgrims, intensifying just a little bit. But I'm not too concerned with that one at the moment. This one back here seems to be broadening. I mean, not seeing really any rotation in any of these currently, which is good. That's, again, like you can see here, this is, So I guess I should explain what the correlation coefficient is. It basically takes a look at particles that the radar beam hits in the atmosphere and then compares them to each other. If they're the same shape and size, they get a higher value. If they're of different shape and size, then they get a lower value. So raindrops are all about the same size. Hail, little bit different, but kind of the same shape. Debris, 2x4s, leaves, all that stuff, that is wildly different shapes and sizes. So that's where that comes from. The NROT here, this tool is the normalized rotation. Pretty reliable, I find. It's just kind of it's a rotation tracker. It's not much more to say about that. This is storm relative velocity. This takes the storm movement out of the equation when looking at storms, wind speeds. This is the base velocity. Nothing other than just straight up. That's not what I want. Just straight up wind speeds. Making sure everything's staying live. All right. So, taking a wider look at things, still a lot of tornado warnings up in North Indiana. Storms about to enter Kentucky, and some pretty active storms out in Arkansas. In fact, let me see. Let's see if we can compare. So this is, oh no, we can't compare Little Rock sounding. They didn't put one up. Oh, let's take a look at this one here in southern Missouri, because it's fairly close. Well, no, this won't be a good look. This is after the cold front has passed, wasn't it? That's the thing about sounding timings is they're great, wonderful tools, but you only get them usually twice a day, and in certain areas more than twice if the weather calls for it. But once it gets nighttime, typically won't have many more balloon launches. But sorry, I got our Memphis radar. You can see the storms here. This is the main line. I would expect these to stay kind of go south of us here in Middle Tennessee. It's these storms up here in Kentucky and these here in Middle Tennessee right now that will be affecting us tonight. Anything updated in the forecaster's discussion for the Weather Service? Yeah, we're conditionally unstable, which basically just means that there's a cap in place. Let's see here. Lapse rates of 8.4 Celsius per kilometer. I can show that. This right here. This one says 8.8, but it's around there. That is how quickly the atmosphere above is cooling with height. So it's decreasing by about 8 degrees Celsius per kilometer up you go. That's a pretty steep lapse rate, which is great for storms, bad for everything else. So right now we're just kind of waiting for the forcing to arrive, which will cause the storms to go up. We'll have to see if the cap holds for these smaller cells. If it does, we shouldn't have to worry about much with these, but if it doesn't, things get explosive fairly quickly. Why does it keep... No, I lock it over here. Here we go. No, what did I just do? I want to close that. What just happened? Nope. Ah! What happened? Come on. View. What happened here? There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I should probably just leave this alone and work on this later, I think. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, we're just kind of waiting. Any questions? Feel free to ask and I'll answer if this will stop ever doing that. I had this issue last time. I wonder what's going on. No. Let's take a look back at that cell in Little Rock. Or not in Little Rock, north of Little Rock in Arkansas here. So it seems to be turning a bit more south. It's going to be so St. James, Bethesda. Make sure you are in your safe place now. This is an extremely large and dangerous tornado heading your direction. Collision coefficient still showing substantial debris being lofted. Plenty of rotation in this storm. Looks like it's hard to tell because we are in a radar hole, but the storm may be trying to get itself rain wrapped. It wouldn't surprise me if it is rain wrapped at this point, judging by these here. So you probably won't be able to see it if you go outside. Yeah, 100% potential tornado debris signature there. This is a very dangerous situation here in north central Arkansas. Everyone here needs to be in their safe place now. Looks like it's gonna. Is that a highway mile marker? Looks like we kept passing pretty close to there. Might get some wind readings from that cell there. Is that a? Trying to see if there's any webcam traffic cams. Arkansas. No. Traffic cameras. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Let's see if I can't pull this up here. This camera does not look like it wants to load. Right here in the path, well, it's probably because it's getting flooded with people wanting to see the storm. It's pointed south. So that's unfortunately won't be able to see anything there. Not this one here. That's also southbound. You won't see much there. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Let's see if there's any more. Oh, that won't provide any help. Let's see. Nope, not doing ads. All those are in Arkansas. Are off. Okay. All right. Yep, can't find anything regarding traffic cams here. I believe that is where the traffic cam is, which is sad to say that it can't see anything there. That's in the perfect position to take a look. I'll keep trying. Maybe it'll come online. It could just be so many people are trying to see it right now. Currently not seeing any storm chasers on it. Let me see if I can find a stream. Okay, so yeah, rotations. Okay, looks like to be moving up north St. James, you are breaking the path this storm, it looks like. Yeah, collision coefficient hasn't updated just yet. Could be turning north, which means it could be trying to kind of cycle and die out. That'd be preferable. Well, not the cycling part, the dying out part would be preferable. All right. Also, latest from the Storm Prediction Center. Remote Tennessee here, there's a 60% chance of a watch being issued for our area. I do not. Do I? Nope, I do. Okay. So, there we go. All right. So let's see here. Shallow convection across Tennessee shows signs of deepening over the past 30 minutes. Boxes. That's better. Okay. Yep. Here's our tornado watches here. Severe threat immaterialize in the coming hours. Convective threads are being monitored for possible watch issuance. This here, recent radar and GOES infrared imagery shows a shadow convection over Tennessee with some vertical development over the past 30 minutes. This warm air advection, okay, clearing, which supports the idea. Sorry, I got a text. Buoyancy is decreasing. We're at dew point 1250s. So we do have a slight, let's see here. That's our dew point 66 in Dixon. Yeah. So something to keep an eye on with this event. Let's see here. Let's go back to Nashville. So basically, just SBC is watching it. Watching closely. We may get a tornado watch issued here shortly. Let's see. Terrain. Large scale tornadoes. Yeah. Okay. They're giving us a 60% chance of a watch. We're just kind of watching to see what happens. I think they would probably issue it. But that's just me. Yeah. Still can't load that video, unfortunately. Currently, the most intense storm is the one in Arkansas right now. All right. Got a quick one asking on the ETA for this bad line. I think the main line we're looking at, 1 a.m. or later, most likely. But these cells here have to be watched just in case. I got work in the morning, man. Why do we always have to get these night storms? Let's see here. Let's see. All right. All right. How's our dew point looking? 64. Yeah. Dew points looking a little high here in middle and West Tennessee. Not as high as they are over here over near Memphis in the Mississippi River. Those are pretty high. Yeah, the curse of meteorology, that's right. I mean, weather doesn't sleep, so neither do meteorologists, man. Gotta be up. Caffeine's your best friend. There's these storms up here. Indiana. I got kind of just focusing here in the southeast. This is not to say these storms aren't bad or anything. They very well are. We got tornado warnings, 3 of them. So that's at 3 possible tornadoes here. But my main focus is the southeast here. Unless we could draw. I'm just using GR level 2. Just my go-to program. That's what I'm most comfortable with. All right, we have our first severe thunderstorm warning that's entered Tennessee here. Up near and far northwestern Tennessee, just across Mississippi River. The storm at Ashland City is starting to get its act together. I'm not seeing any rotation with it though. I mean, I don't call this rotation here. This is directly in line with the radar. So you'll get stuff like that. These purple bars here, range folding, just bad data. Here you can see this is actually downtown buildings. Those are always there. That's a little fun thing to point out. Should be noted that these storms are actually moving in a different direction. This main line here, the main line is moving southeast, whereas these are moving northeast. Got a pretty big, cell going up here, north of Sladen, just south of Clarksville. You can never. That one may try to be getting some slight rotation with it. Nothing too crazy, just something to watch. These storms down here. Actually, let's switch over to Memphis radar for these. Yeah. Here, Memphis, once again, just kind of some storms just popping up. This will travel along I-40, but probably not before the line gets here and catches up. When that happens, there can be some neat interactions with the storm. These cells. But currently, like I said, nothing severe here. A lot of lightning, though, with the storm going through Ashland City. A couple strikes. Maybe some slight hail. No, probably not. If anything, peas, but I don't even think that's going to be falling from that storm. Let's see. Where's Echo tops here? This is how tall the storm is, given the radar. Best guess, we're looking at 35,000 feet. Tall storms, those are not tall at all. Pretty low, actually, to the ground. I'm not concerned about these storms right now. It's what they could become later. It could be an issue. But right now, things are looking pretty quiet. For Middle Tennessee, at least. Arkansas still, we got this. Where is it? Here it is. Here's the main area of rotation concern here. It's possible it's trying to get a secondary circulation going here, although that could just be some side lobe, actually. Yeah, that's like side lobe. Yeah, tornado would be here. Let's see. There's that debris ball. Tornado is likely still on the ground. This the weakening. I mean, it's definitely way less defined than it was earlier. I mean, we compare it to back here, yeah, and then it kind of wobbles, goes north, and then yeah, it's actually it's where the tornado was. It's very possible the tornado has in fact lifted, and this is just leftover debris flying out of the sky. Yeah, it's very possible that tornado lifted. Which is good. Doesn't mean it won't happen again. These things tend to cycle, and there's nothing out in front of it. But yeah, see here, this is all inflow getting sucked into the storm. The good news is here you can see the little kind of some rain pop up ahead of it into the inflow getting sucked in. That will actually bring down the temperatures and the energy a little bit. So seems to be looking up here, but that doesn't mean to let your guard down. So I mean, Bethesda, Jamestown, Almond, Desha, even Batesville, you should be in your safe places now, just in case it recycles. That can happen very quickly. But I am optimistic that the tornado has in fact lifted. Let's see. Any updates? Tornado watches. Oh, the camera's finally up. Mountain view here, looking south. I'm not. Lots of lightning with the storm. You can tell. Oh no. Try to see go into Tennessee's cameras. Looks like Nashville. All right, so Tennessee cameras seem to be up and working, which is good. Keep that page open for now, for later. Hopefully, I won't need them, but you never know. Looks like I do believe, based on what I'm seeing here on this other stream, it looks like this tornado warning is being downgraded to a radar indicated warning rather than a PDS, which is good. It shows what we saw on radars. It seems the tornado seems to have lifted. Yep, there it goes. So a tornado warning does remain in effect, but it is no longer for a confirmed tornado. It is now for a possible radar indicated rotation, which is good. That's really good. I'm just kind of watching these storms, and nothing's really able to get going here in southern Arkansas. This little cell here about to pass north of Jerusalem just looks like it tried to get going, but it's just entering a really bad environment here. Little Rock slightly capped like we are. We're probably less capped though, just based on all the storms going up, but caps nonetheless. As we stay watching here, I'm gonna put it in motion. Let's see here. See if it has any reports. All right. Not seeing any reports right now on Twitter or anything about damage, which is good. Hopefully, nothing was. Hopefully, it was just in like a forested area, and the debris we saw were just trees and limbs. Let me go back here. Turn off the radar and just kind of go here. It does look to be mostly trees. There are a few areas of homes. Hopefully the storm missed those homes. Those are roads, not rivers. Crossed here. Man, if that camera was pointed northbound, we probably could have gotten a view of it if it wasn't down as well. That's also the big point. But we're in Nashville. Oh, as you know, nothing too much going on here. Just some regular old thunderstorms, which is good. That's what we want to see. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any updates here on the front weather service. All right. I'm not seeing much in the way of the tornado watch being issued right now. I'll leave this running for a little while, but I'm gonna take a quick break. I know I kind of just started, but go get a drink, some things, and I'll be back. Especially if something happens, I'll be watching it, of course. But all right, be right back. All right. So they come on back. Ooh, my voice is pretty high. The yellow. Okay, here we go. This should be better. Okay. So they come on back because these cells are now starting to mature, starting to produce more lightning, and you see here almost a bit more supercellular in nature. Maybe some slight rotation going on here with this storm north of Cumberland Furnace, south of Clarksville. Here down Nunley, you've got two cells interacting with each other. Kind of have to watch that one closely, see what happens there. But main looking at this one here, even radar's kind of picking up on maybe some slight rotation in this storm here. Some relative base. All right. Let's see. Wonder if we've got any cameras up there. No. None that I have access to. Found a good website to view some cameras, so. Still no warnings, which is good. Nashville Weather actually put up a weather balloon 11 minutes ago. Over 11 minutes ago. But they show the cap has completely eroded, which makes sense. This storm really starting to get going, looks like. Lightning. This one here is the strongest at the moment. Is there a better radar to see it from? No. Here in Millersville. This looks like a supercell here, but it's so close to the radar. It's likely just some artifacting, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's trying to get going. This one here, definitely starting to get a little appendage here. We'll see if it keeps wrapping around. Storm here only. A couple updrafts in here. It looks like we've got an updraft here, here, and maybe even one coming back up here. It may be trying to have. I'm not really seeing rotation with that one either. Okay. Have a look in. So 65-degree dew points. 78 degrees outside. 71, still 70s. I'm just keeping refreshing. Maybe we can get a good look at the holograph. Yeah. Looks like National Weather is watching this Nunley storm as well. Makes sense. It is probably the most developed of all these. Weather Service, made known storms to be approaching about 1 a.m. Still no tornado watch currently. Discussion was at three. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm tired. That discussion was at 10:30, so we're approaching an hour mark here. Discussion is usually valid for about 2 hours. So we'll see within the next 2 hours, or actually within the next about an hour and 15 minutes. Probably see a tornado watch, or even just a severe thunderstorm watch. Honestly, if these storms can't get going with the fuel we have available, I'm not confident the main line will have much success either. These will sap some of the energy from the main line anyway, so being hopeful, but that one cell in Arkansas did prove that all it takes just one good supercell to get going. This little bit here hanging off the back. These are very weird places for a hook to be supercell wise. I mean, you kind of expect the rotation to be here, not back. It's like the storm does look to be trying to rotate. Very likely supercell in development. This one down here, still pretty far from radar. Definitely trying. This is just a really weird cell. Let's see here. What else we got? So as the storm approaches, I take some small hail with it. Radar's picking up almost an inch of hail. This is usually overblown, but Fairview, Lyles, Wingley, Kingston Springs even may get some slight hail with this storm. If you care about your cars, just kind of put them under a garage. Let's see if we have any cameras in that direction. That is north of Fairview. Sorry, west of Fairview. Niles. Bon Aqua. Yeah, no cameras in this direction. I mean, there's some, but they're not pointing in the right direction. I'm seeing some wind on this one here. We can move this over here. SmartWay camera. This is I-40 junction. Ooh, maybe it is pointing. See, they did move it. Pointing south. Lots of lightning. Lots and lots of lightning with it. All right. Storm's too far away to see any definition, but just proves that there is a lot of lightning there. It is a strong storm. Let's see here. What are winds looking like? Look about 40 so knots here, about 4,000 feet up. That's sub-severe. Severe is 58 mile per hour winds at the surface. So this is some strong winds up high. Some of those might be reaching the ground. Still sub-severe. That's storm near Vatsville, still chugging along in Arkansas. Heard some thunder here over my house. Probably this cell here, south of White Bluff. Let's see. So no, we're on Trader Watch, or any watch for that matter. Interesting to see if they decide to issue one. So far, I am not impressed with these storms. I kind of figured, given our environment, these might cause some issues, but right now they're not. And should I say that? Yeah, about 20 seconds ago, the Storm Prediction Center just updated the Trader Watch. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Just do that. Nope, nope. That didn't work. Oh well. All right. Text data. Washington Weather Service issued a Trader Watch until 5 a.m. today. New watch is valid for. No, that's not it. There it is. Cheatham, Davidson, Giles, Hickney, Dixon, Lawrence, Lewis, Murray, Montgomery, Robertson, and Williamson counties. Trader Watch remains in effect. The Trader Watch has expanded. I kind of figured they would, but I'm not too impressed with these storms here. Not to mean there can't. I mean, conditions are still favorable for a tornado. Don't get me wrong when I'm saying that, I am surprised that these haven't gotten going. That doesn't mean to let your guard down or anything. It just means that none of these have produced a tornado or even gotten severe yet. They still very well could. But it's good news that they have not. Let's see here. This storm here. Wind slightly increasing, maybe a little bit. If there's a watch or warning for any storm, probably a severe warning for this storm here first. Let me get these stations off. Not stations, the surface fronts. Any advisories? Yeah, all right. So we got a few advisories. These are special weather statements. So this cell here has a wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour, half an inch of hail. In this storm here in northern Cheatham County, 40 miles, 50 mile per hour, half an inch hail. So let's see, here's their storm tracking. It's a little bit messy. These are each of the cells that the programs define and their general cones and directions. Each hash is 15 minutes. There you can see our our watch, has been extended. Here's all the storm spotters out there right now. Currently have my location turned off because I don't need people stalking me. So here, is the Go satellite up and running? Place file? Probably not. No, it doesn't look like it. All right. Yeah, it looks like. Her model running? No. Okay. I got a couple place files. They're always fun to just mess around with. But currently, the main cells of concern are here and here, Nash City. But nothing to be concerned of now. Of course, you want to be inside. You don't want to be outside with this. Radar's picking up about 1-inch hail. Like I said, this is pretty overblown. I'd say it's probably close to that half-inch mark, if any's falling at the moment. Interesting to note is these cells have started taking a more eastwardly march. Where they were heading northeast. Now they're all heading almost due east. Okay. Let's see here. I just realized. Oh, my cams are still here. Back to the sounding and close that now. We're getting out of the viable range of that. Cap has eroded. Maybe a bit of inflow here, maybe. Still not thrilled about the way that looks. It's definitely weird. Not like it's just a weird look for a supercell to look. The hook's on the completely wrong end. It's possible this is just some inflow into the storm. Gonna start raining. I can't guarantee I won't lose power. We lose power here. That there's a light breeze, so. Are waiting for these storms to fire off. Just heads up, tomorrow could get some more severe weather. Tomorrow evening into overnight. Once again, pretty low tornado threat. Biggest threat will probably be there be damaging winds and some large hail, with some small local flooding. Tornado threat is fairly low with tomorrow's event here. We're currently under a 2% for tomorrow of tornadoes, a 15% risk for wind, and a 50% chance for hail. Main areas look to be, from Dallas to Little Rock, and from Dallas to almost Jackson, Mississippi. But not expecting as much as there has been today. It's lower end threat, but still possible for Middle Tennessee at least. We're. Oh, I hear the rain. Getting some rain now. Again, no severe warnings active. Middle Tennessee. That's great to hear. Great to see. So look at this weird looking. It's it looks like the cell is splitting. So when a cell splits like that, the updraft has become 2 updrafts. And usually what happens is one will rotate counterclockwise, like they do in the northern hemisphere most of the time. That's usually the southern one, and the northern one will actually rotate clockwise. Look at that. It's pretty cool. You see here, it's one updraft, and then as it goes through, it splits into 2. It's a really cool feature there. I love this. Why I love weather. These cool things that happen. You wouldn't in nature. It's just Why is it split? Well, one updraft could dominate the other one. One new updraft forms, spin in the other direction. Pretty cool. Of course, I guess it's fair to say that this is a supercell now. I mean, just looking at velocities here, we got two kind of mesocyclones. It looks like here, very broad, very weak mesos, but kind of two mesos nonetheless. Just like the radar has switched modes, storm relative and base velocity are now showing the same thing. That's very common. I like the base velocity better. That's just me. Just jumping between some streams here, seeing if anyone has any new other input. The great things about meteorology these days is you got tons of opinions, and they're not always right, but they're opinions and they're things you can consider. It is a beautiful split. Yeah, it looked almost like a beautiful supercell for a second. If this was rotated 90 degrees, I'd be very concerned. But it's not. Same with this one down here. It's such a weird looking. I guess not. That's not the classic supercell. It's not what we saw up in Arkansas earlier. Remember? Tornado warnings have really come down across the entire line, as expected. What Storm Prediction Center knew this, and that's why we were under a slight risk, almost enhanced, but mostly slight, and why the worst of the storms were expected in that kind of corridor here. I don't know what we would call this, the kind of area these four states meet. Even then, I would say it's a bit more south and north of that, which can happen. These things aren't easy. You're doing your best to predict the future with what you got. Just kind of waiting for stuff to happen, honestly. This is part of the reason why Nashua waits until, there's a warning, because a little bit different. They have a massive community to fill dead air and dead time with, but we just chill. We're just sitting answering questions. When has any? This cell looks maybe getting a little bit of its act together with that little lowering there. That's in the right place for one now. Look at that. Yeah, let's take a look here. Still not a lot of rotation. Some, this is a supercell. I'm confident to say this is a supercell we have to watch. Same with the one down here. But right now, I'm just not overly concerned. Watching, obviously. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing really popping out. This is still kind of, trying to work its way through. Sorry, I'm just reading some take the storms today. Let's see. Yep, still just chugging along. I'm gonna mute myself for a little bit and just see if anything pops up. I'll be here watching. All right. I'm going to cut it here for the night. Just kind of watching the storms. I'll pop back on if anything, because of my eye or anything. But right now, might be a good hour or so or more away from anything extravagant happening. I'm just not impressed with these little cells here. This main line here, we'll have to watch. But get a little bit of time before then. So we'll be back on if anything happens.